The sole purpose of this video is to provide a basic overview and orientation of your new apparatus. This video is not intended to act as or replace individualized driver-operator training. Individual fire departments may base guidelines, policies, and procedures tailored for best practices. Pierce Manufacturing and Hughes Fire Equipment representatives are not liable for injuries caused from acts resulting from actions inconsistent with the information provided within this video and/or accompanying manuals. Refer to the Operation and Maintenance Manual for complete details relating to the components and features of this apparatus. Only trained personnel should operate this vehicle or perform maintenance. You are responsible for learning how to operate this fire apparatus under all conditions without having to refer to the manual while operating at an emergency incident. This video will discuss types of warnings and caution labels. It is your responsibility to locate and identify each of the labels and understand the importance and associated hazards. Warning labels will point out procedure that must be taken or action that must be avoided to guard against the possibility of serious injury or death. Caution labels will advise you that there is a risk of damage to property if certain precautions are not followed. Continuous training, reviewing of operation and service manuals, developing good standardized practices will assist driver operators with a more complete understanding of the components and operation of this fire apparatus. As the driver operator of this vehicle, you are responsible for understanding the function of each component of the apparatus, maintaining control of the fire apparatus at all times while in operation. Make operational and functional changes while operating at an emergency without having to read operator's instructions or safety warning labels. Operate manual override and emergency shutdown procedures immediately if a component fails to operate properly. Components location may vary with each Pierce fire apparatus. Review the exact location of each component prior to operation. Major inconsistencies between your vehicle and the information contained in this video should be directed to your sales representative. Safe operation of any vehicle is the responsibility of the driver operator. You must learn the location and function of all controls, switches, gauges, valves, inlets, and discharges. Due to a higher center of gravity, heavy trucks have a significantly higher rollover tendency than other types of vehicles. To reduce the risk of rollover, avoid making sharp turns, excessive speed, and avoid abrupt maneuvers. In the event of a rollover crash, an unbelted person is significantly more likely to become injured or die than a person wearing a seatbelt. In the event of a crash, unbuckled occupants can also become a hazard to other occupants, as they may be thrown around inside the cab. Seatbelts are required while in operation. Please refer to your warranty certificates for details and information enclosed in your manuals. Customer-installed equipment must be mounted to withstand road travel and comply with NFPA 1901. Modifications such as drilling holes or welding to structural frame components of the chassis are not permitted. Contact Pierce for instruction and review of non-structural sheet metal or other dissimilar metals for modification. Follow the radio installation guide for further assistance on installing or mounting electronics. Before placing your new apparatus into service, perform a primary inspection of key components of the apparatus, including all fluid levels, anti-lock braking systems, electronic stability control, and automatic traction control. Weigh your apparatus to ensure that it conforms to axle and brake ratings. Never exceed the gross axle rating printed on the label inside the cab. Exceeding these ratings could lead to reduced component life, personal injury, or death. Review the use of auxiliary braking systems, compression brake, exhaust brake, electronic retarder, and hydraulic retarder. Before placing the apparatus in service, refer to the operational maintenance manuals. Information on the operation and maintenance functions for the components such as the pump, pressure governor, and foam systems, along with other options, is provided in either the Pierce manuals and/or other manufacturer support information delivered with the apparatus. If you need more information, please contact Hughes Fire Equipment. Congratulations, Tumwater, Washington, on your new fire apparatus, job number 32460. Please utilize this job number when referencing your apparatus with Hughes Fire Equipment and Pierce Manufacturing. Let's get started on a brief orientation of your new apparatus. Starting down at the front bumper, on the face of the front bumper, you'll find two air horns, passenger side and driver side face. Moving up onto the top of the bumper on the passenger side, you'll find your bell. Moving just inward of that location to the center, you'll find a tubbed storage area. This is accessed through the D handle on the top. Moving to the driver's side, you'll find your mechanical siren. And then moving on to the bumper extension on the passenger and driver's side, you'll find an emergency warning light. Moving just under the front bumper on the driver's side is where you'll find the drain for your front bumper load. Let's move up to the body itself. You'll find the headlight cluster, low and high beam headlights. Also moving to the outer edge, you'll find your turn indicator marker light. And then moving just above that, you'll find emergency warning light. Just behind the Pierce logo is the access point to gain access in opening the hood in the front of the vehicle. As we move up to the sides, right and left side, you'll find a two-section mirror, flat and convexed. You do have a front bumper mirror on the passenger side, and then three windshield wipers across the seamless one-piece windshield. At the top of the brow, you'll find 5 running lights, in addition with a forward-facing front floodlight. Moving up to the top, you'll find your emergency warning light bar. Located in the center of that light bar, you'll find your opticom. On the passenger and driver side, just above the emergency warning light is where you'll find your 2 spotlights. On the side of the apparatus, you'll find a side-facing scene light. Here's some close-ups of those items that we just talked about. Looking overhead, the forward-facing emergency lights, in addition with floodlights and spotlights. Low beam and high beam headlights. Low beam is on the inside, high beam is on the outer edge. Just under the Pierce logos where you'll find the release mechanism to release the hood. Moving to the bumper area, you'll find your tubbed storage with an 1.5-inch swivel discharge. Moving to the side of the vehicle, you'll find a side-facing bullet camera. On the side of the vehicle, you'll also find your shoreline inlet. This is a 20-amp auto eject. There is a green indicator when it's connected. In addition, with your auto charge Kussmaul system will power and activate. As we move through some of the compartments here, you'll find dry deck material. Some of the compartments have LED lighting and also adjustable shelves. You can see this is just past the driver's entrance door. There's access from outside and also inside the cab to this compartment. Moving to the side where the pump panel is located, you will find a walk-through area. We'll talk a little bit about some of the items here. Just inside the driver's side access panel, this gains access to behind the pump panel so you don't have to remove the entire panel. There's also tubbed storage locations on the passenger and driver's side walk-through area, in addition with grab handles and drop-down steps. Looking overhead, you'll find 2 D handles which will access the top storage location. Let's move down to the very bottom of the apparatus. You'll also find the drain. This is going to be for your foam fill and also foam drain. Moving up to the panel just in front of the walkthrough, you'll find your cross lays for speed loads. There's also a warning label here regarding fall protection and not to walk on the side of the apparatus while it's in motion. In addition, with an entanglement hazard, because of those hoses coming off above, there is the possibility of entanglement. This is the location of the yellow number 1 speed lay. It is water and foam capable. It is an 1.5-inch discharge.
Just inside the compartment, you'll find the number 2 speed lay, water foam capable in white. Moving just beneath this area, you'll find all your associated drains. This is the driver main inlet air bleed. To the right, you'll find your foam B refill. Just beneath that, you'll find the number 1 speed lay, number 1 driver's side, and then the number 3 driver's side drains. Let's go ahead and move to the driver's side panel. You'll find two 2.5-inch discharges. Both of them are reduced to 1.5 inches. To the far right, you'll find your electronic valve override. Moving down to the left, you'll find your air supply. This is a twist, not a pull. Just beneath that, you'll find the air outlet chuck. This is a female connection. And then moving to the right, you'll find your wet tank gauge. Let's move all the way to the right side where you'll find your large diameter pump intake. And then there are 2 access panels here. We'll talk about those next. 2 pan doors, one at the top and just one down at the very bottom. Here's a close-up of the air supply, air outlet, and the wet tank gauge. This is your manual override. 2.5-inch pre-connect drain and the 1 3/4 rear pre-connect drain. Driver side 2.5-inch auxiliary inlet. And then to the right, you'll find your pump drain. Just beneath that pump drain is where you'll find your manual pump shift. There are some instructions just above that and a caution label. Please seek that owner's manual for guidance. To the right, you'll find a warning label here regarding not to mix foam consistencies, types, manufacturer brands, or different types of foam. You'll also find the auxiliary foam functions, inlet, strainer, and foam drain. This is your wattress placard indicating the type of pump that you have and the capacity of 1,500 GPM. Moving over to the right, this is that pan compartment door. This is the location for your foam fill. It is the yellow handle. There are instructions on the door panel. Quick view of the top section of your pump. Let's review some of the items starting from the right and moving to the left. This is your driver's side auxiliary inlet. Then we'll move to the number 1 driver's side discharge, number 3 2.5-inch pre-connect, 1 3/4-inch rear pre-connect, and then your number 1 speed lay. This is foam and water capable, in addition with the 1 3/4 and the 2.5. Moving to the left, you'll find the tank to pump, and then you'll also find on the right side the tank fill. Just beneath that, you're going to find this warning placard that only trained personnel should operate this equipment in conjunction with the use of your owner's manual. Beneath that, you'll find the Pierce minimum maintenance schedule. We'll go over that in a little bit, but let's go ahead and move up to the very top. This is your Pierce throttle pressure governor. Just underneath the TPG, you'll find a warning label here that do not open the throttle unless this light is on. That is the green indicator on the right. Beneath that, you'll find an audible alarm. The outer bezel will allow you to adjust the volume control. There's also some warning labels here regarding fall hazard that you should not ride on the side of the vehicle while in motion. Moving from right to left, this is your deluge discharge. Moving just slightly to the left, we're going to find your front discharge, number 2 speed lay, real discharge, number 4 passenger side, number 2 passenger side, and the passenger side auxiliary inlet, once again from right to left. There's also instructions here for your Husky foam system. This is the Husky 12. There are specifications just below, in addition with instructions on the placard just above. As we move up to the top, once again, this is your throttle pressure governor. Let's go ahead and talk about the Pierce placard here. This is the minimum operation maintenance schedule. In the center, you'll find boxed at the 150, 200, and 250 psi. Those are the test pressures. On the left, you'll find the associated GPM, and on the right, you'll find the associated RPMs. You do have a governed speed of 1970. Moving to the left, you'll find an additional inlet drain. Moving to the right, you'll find your large diameter passenger side. This is going to be green in color, and that's your gauge for that. Just below that, you'll find the passenger main inlet. This is an electronic valve, and because that being electronic, there is a manual override next to the valve. As we move to the red section, this is your foam system. You have foam A and foam B foam level indicators. Moving to the gray section, which is just to the right of that, you're going to find your master intake on the left, and then on the right you'll find your master discharge. Located in between the two of those is where you'll find your test gauge ports for vacuum and pressure. They currently are plugged. Let's move just slightly to the right is where you'll find your engine cooler. This is a twist, not a pull. Then you have a lift recirculating line down in the lower section. And then to the right you're going to find a set of switches, and then further to the left you'll find your electronic prime. There is a caution label just underneath that. Let's go ahead and go through some of the items here within the switches. First, starting at the very top, you'll find in red the air horn. Moving down, your panel lights, driver side scene lights, passenger side scene lights, master reel rewind, and then also a reel rewind. Just underneath that, you'll find the pump engaged. This is a green indicator light indicating when your pump is properly engaged. Moving to the right, you'll find in this blue section, this is your water tank with indications at refill, quarter, half, three-quarter, and full. And moving to the right, you'll find the driver's main inlet, once again an electronic valve. And on the far right, you'll find the driver's main inlet air bleed. On the left-hand side, passenger side, you'll find a work light and also the green large diameter discharge valve. Located in the center, you'll find your master stream device, including a work light. As we look just inside that area, you'll find in the dunnage area a sight gauge for your hydraulic oil, and then also a red lever at the bottom to isolate that tank. You also have a water fill for foam A and also foam B fill tanks. At the very top on the diamond plate, you'll find these yellow safety diamonds, so firefighters know the edge. Located in the first compartment back, you're going to find the timer system for your air recirculating system with inside compartments, and then also your S1 breaker box. Just beneath that, you'll also find, when plugged into shore power, these lower access points will be active. Let's take a closer look here. On the left, once again, the smaller box is going to be for your ventilation system, and it's a timer. You can preset those times for how long you want the fans to operate. Moving to the right, you'll find the S1, which stands for shore power. This is when plugged into shore power, these receptacles will activate. Also, when plugged into shore power, will this outlet, which is a 20 amp outlet, just underneath the breaker box. Moving further back, you'll find 3 locations for bottle storage and retaining straps. As we move further to the back, you'll find the silver ultra low sulfur diesel fuel fill location. As we flip down, you'll find the blue 4.5 US gallon DEF tank. Moving to the center compartment, you'll find LED lighting, adjustable shelves, and there's also the recirculating system. This compartment also houses a tool board on the front and back side. The D handle is what gains access to make it open. When it's in the open position, it will lock. The locking system is going to be on the hinged side, and I do have an image of that in the next set of pictures. This is the locking system. We'll return it back to its original locked position. There's also a shoreline outlet, 20 amp plug in this compartment. Once again, when plugged into shore power, this will activate. General view here of the rear of the apparatus. We'll break down some of those items next. Moving through some of the items on the rear of the apparatus, we'll find your tail light cluster housing the emergency light, turn, and brake light. You'll also find a cupped switch, which is for your deck lights. Moving upward of that location, you're going to find 4 emergency rear-facing lights. As we move further up to the very top, you'll find your rear scene lights. There are 3 fold-down steps in the upper portion and then 2 on the lower section. Moving up from that location, passenger side and driver side, you're going to find 2 access panels, pan doors. We'll talk about those in a moment. Across the center, you'll find your traffic advisor. Just above the traffic advisor is where you're going to find the reverse or backup camera. Also located around the edges are going to find all of your grab handles for making it easy for firefighters to go aloft. At the very top, you're going to find backboard storage location in the cover. Here's some close-ups of those items we talked about. This is the deck light switch on the driver's side rear. In addition, in the roll-up compartment door, you'll find 3 shelves that pull outward. The release mechanism is on the right. Let's go ahead and take a look at some of those pan doors on the left and right side that we talked about earlier. You're going to find long tool-handled storage here. Moving on to the opposite side, long tool storage in addition with your 10-foot folding ladder. General view here of the rear and the side of the apparatus. Let's move toward the side of the vehicle and start some of the discussion in this area. The very rear compartment, when you open the compartment door on the very rear section of the apparatus, you'll find a Shoreline outlet 20 amp plug. Moving forward of that location, you're going to find the release mechanism for the lower shelf. There is also SCBA bottle storage locations in addition with retaining straps. There is also 2 extinguishers, dry chem and water, including retaining straps and the possibility of additional bottle storage. Moving to the forward compartment, you'll find LED lighting, adjustable shelving in the narrow compartment in the very side section. Let's go ahead and move now to the midsection where the pump panel is located. Let's talk a little bit about some warning labels. This is a fall not to ride on the side of the apparatus. There's also a pressurized cap warning here regarding pressurized caps while removing those caps and the hazards associated with removing them. We also have an additional warning label here regarding an entanglement hazard and also not riding on the side of the apparatus. Above that, you're going to find your crosslay positions for crosslays 1 and 2. Also, the powered equipment rack is located in this area. There's an on-off switch and an up and down switch. This is the reservoir for that hydraulic motor. Inside that compartment, you'll also find the intake relief valve. Also located near that, you'll find the water strainer, which is a 2.5 inch with the strainer inside. As we move to the pump area, you'll find 2 2.5s. Both of these have been reduced down to 1.5 inch. You'll also find your large diameter passenger side intake. And then just moving forward of that location, the large diameter green discharge. Across the very bottom, you're going to find all of your associated and color-coded labeled drains. Moving forward to that location, you'll find your passenger side auxiliary 2.5 inch. This is a female inlet. And then moving up once again, you'll find the number 2 and the number 1 speedlay. That is a 1.5 inch discharge. We're also going to find a tubbed storage location exterior for that 2.5 inch auxiliary inlet. On the body, you'll find a pan-style door with a small compartment. Moving inward to the driver's and passenger side, you'll find at all points of entry these warning labels regarding the use of seat belts and safety advice. In addition, with grab handles on the lower and upper section, and also at the hinge, a red grab handle for firefighter ease of entry and exit into the cab. Looking interior, you'll find 2 EMS compartments, LED lighting inside, and also adjustable shelving. On the base of the forward-facing seats, you'll find additional storage. Quick shot of overhead. There is additional compartment storage on the back wall, in addition with push on and off red and white lights overhead. You also have additional forward-facing storage over those EMS compartments. Located in the center, you'll find your checks for daily operations for oil and transmission. You'll also find 12-volt access. This is barrel and also USB style, and your compartment light switch. Here's a quick look inside the compartment for your checks for daily oil and transmission. And then here are those 12-volt and also your compartment lights. As we move through some additional information here, let's talk a little bit about the side of the vehicle. You'll find LED spotlights, handheld, and also SCBA bottle storage location. Here's a quick view overhead with the LED light in the on position when the door is in the open position. As we move to the driver's seat, officer's area, point of entry, you're going to find those warning labels on the door. This vehicle is equipped with a supplemental restraining system, SRS, and that's what this warning label is for at the lower section. Do not block this area with any mounting of equipment. In the upper corner, you'll find your bell rope, and down at the very foot level, you'll find your mechanical siren foot pedal. Let's look to the center area where you'll find additional 12-volt access, barrel style, and also USB. As we move to the top, you'll find the push button for your siren brake. Let's go ahead and go overhead in the officer seat location. You're going to find a variety of different items. We'll cover those next. Starting on the left, you do have an AM/FM weather band radio CD player. And as we move to the right, you're going to find your unit radio. Moving further to the right, we'll identify your Go Light control module. Let's move back to the center area where you'll find this red light. If illuminated, it will indicate that you have a compartment or door open, and do not move your apparatus. Back to the center section, once again 12-volt access, barrel style, and USB. The very front section, you'll find your vehicle data recorder port. Let's go back to the driver's side of the vehicle. Once again, points of entry, you're going to have all of those warning labels and combination of information. Also information here regarding seat belts and the use of those seat belts. Down at the lower section about ankle level, you'll find this set of warning labels and hazard labels. You'll also find this Pierce placard label. Manufactured by Pierce for Tumwater Fire Department. It has the date of manufacture, job number, gross vehicle weight ratings, in addition with tire inflation and wheel size, VIN number, and also all of your fluid capacities. Let's move to about the left knee of the operator where you'll find all of these ports. This is your command zone, engine ABS diagnostic, and SRS transmission diagnostic ports. In addition with your ABS diagnostic, engine diagnostic switch, and your regen information for inhibit and DPF regen. Moving up from that location, the red switch is your master battery switch. Moving further up from that location, you'll find 3 switches here on the outer edge. We'll cover those next. First, starting down at the very bottom, is your ignition switch. Moving up from that location is the start and then hazard lights. Moving to the right, you're going to find a small switch, which is EM, which stands for Emergency Master, your headlight switch, and also your dimming switch for your panel rocker switches. Let's go ahead and cover some of the items within the cluster of gauges. First, starting on the left, you have your transmission oil, DEF level, and water temp. In the center, you find your tachometer and speedometer. To the right, you'll find your volts, fuel, front and rear air. You have diagnostic information above and below the speedometer. On the right-hand side of the column, you'll find your OK to engage your high idle switch and an indicator. General view here of the dash. Let's break down some of those items individually. First, let's start on the upper left-hand corner with your pull to apply your system parking brake and push to release. Moving to the right, you're going to find your Pierce command zone. Tremendous amount of information here about your vehicle right at your fingertips. Let's move slightly to the right of this location where you'll find your Allison transmission pad. And just above that Allison transmission pad, you have a yellow indicator that you pump in drive. Let's move to the right to the next set of memory switches. First, you have a siren brake, air horn, alarm disable, load manager, moose light, future switch location if needed, rear axle light, and your perimeter lights. Moving further to the right and slightly down, you'll find your engine brake on and off switch, settings for that engine brake for low, medium, and high, 2 future switch locations if necessary, front wheel lock, and your mirror heat. Let's move to the right of this location. We're going to find your pump shift. You can see 2 indicators here, green lights, pump engaged, and OK to pump. Both of those indicators must be lit prior to exiting the cab for pump operations. There are instructions for road to pump and from pump to road. Moving up from that location, this is going to be the driver's side Go Light control module. Up on top, you'll find your mirror controls for left mirror and right mirror. As we move to the very front of the apparatus, you'll find your climate control. Let's go ahead and move overhead of the operator. You'll find this yellow placard, height 10 feet 10.5 inches, length 34 feet 1 inch, gross vehicle weight rating at 46,800 pounds. This also has your 5-digit job identifier. If you make any changes to your vehicle, please adjust this plaque accordingly. General view here over the head of the operator. Let's start once again on the left side next to the yellow placard. We're going to find your emergency master, your light bar, front warning, side warning, lower rear warning, and upper rear warning. There's also a future switch located here in addition with your Opticom switch. When these switches are activated, they will indicate by lighting up the back of the memory switch. To the right, you'll find your driver's side scene, passenger side scene, deck light, all scene light, driver's side flood, passenger side flood, visor scene, and also a future switch if necessary. Moving further to the right, you're going to find your Whelen traffic advisor, low, off, and high, and then the functions. There's also a seatbelt indication monitoring system here from Pierce. This is red, indicating someone is in the seat but not belted. Green, meaning that they're in the seat and belted. Congratulations, Tumwater, Washington, on your new fire apparatus, job number 32460. If you have any questions as to the content of this video or any future questions regarding your apparatus, please contact your Hughes Fire sales representative. Thank you and congratulations.